Imagine you are walking down a street in a torrential downpour. Every step requires physical effort against the wind and the water. Now imagine you want to tell someone about that struggle. You might say, "Despite it was raining, I went out." It sounds clear to the ear, but the sentence is grammatically broken. In English grammar, although and despite are subordinating conjunctions. They share a single job, showing contrast. Contrast occurs when an action happens even when there is a logical reason it shouldn't, like heading out into a storm. Since both words convey that same resistance, many speakers assume they can be swapped at will, that doing so creates a mechanical error. The confusion stems from the physical anatomy of how these words lock into the rest of the sentence. To see these mechanics at play, let's strip away the context and look at although, which functions as even though. This formula illustrates the specific requirement for using although. The words that follow must form a complete, freestanding sentence. Take the statement, "Although the battery was low, it lasted all day." If we look at the first clause, we find a distinct subject, the battery. Right next to it is the conjugated verb, was. On its own, "the battery was low" is a grammatically complete thought. This architecture repeats in every correct usage. The price is high. The movie received poor reviews. Subject, verb, subject, verb. Although requires grammatical autonomy in the clause that immediately follows it. Despite operates under a different logic. While it shares the meaning of in spite of, it cannot be followed by a complete sentence. This word is designed to attach to structural fragments. The first acceptable pairing is a standalone noun. In the sentence, "Despite his fear, he spoke confidently," we isolate the phrase his fear. There is no action word attached, it is just a noun. The second acceptable pairing is the ing form of a verb, or a gerund. Look at, "Despite being tired, he kept working." We see the ing verb being, but there is no subject initiating that action in this specific clause. Despite functions by attaching to these fragments, either a noun without a verb or an ing verb without a subject. Comparing identical scenarios side by side shows how the structure changes even when the meaning remains constant. On the left, we have "although she didn't study much." On the right, "despite studying very little." The information is the same, but the mechanical parts are different. To choose the right word, check the word that immediately follows the conjunction. If there is a standard conjugated verb right after the concept, use although. If there is no standard verb, use despite. This method requires looking past the story the sentence is telling to focus purely on the mechanics of the words. Now, let's apply that structural filter to these two specific cases on the board. Case 1. Blank, the rain, we went out. Since the rain is a noun with no verb attached, the correct word is despite. Case 2. Blank, he lacks experience. Here we have a subject, he, and a verb, lacks. Because this is a complete thought, we use although. Applying this single structural filter completely fixes the mechanical mismatch and ensures these two words are used correctly.